Hi guys, today I thought I'd show you how to create a faux spiderweb Imperial Jasper as requested by one of my group members. She asked if I could give it a go. I tried it out. It turned out okay, so I'm hoping it'll turn out okay today. There is going to be some colour mixing going on, and what I've got rolled out here is some turnip metallic red, but you can use any red. This is rolled out onto my thickest setting on my pasta machine, and I've also got this turnip metallic turquoise, but you can use any blue. You're just basically mixing a red and a blue together, and then also incorporating some white clay as well, which I've got there. That's also Cernit. And I've already prepared my translucent squares, and I've got 6 equal size squares of Cernit translucent, and these are on a number 3 setting on my Atlas 150, and I've also got this white clay rolled out and cut into equal squares, and that is rolled out onto number 5. So I've got 6 translucents and 4 whites, and I'm also going to be using this Souffle turnip colour, which is rolled out onto my thinnest setting, which is the number 9, but that's going to be down the road for later. So I'm just going to move these out of the way, and we need to start mixing these colours to get the desired colour. Okay, so these are rolled out onto my thickest setting, and I'm just going to cut out 3 of those. And 1 blue, and I need to roll this clay back out, and 1 white, and we also need this for some more mixing. So it's just a case of putting all those together. So it's 3 red, 1 blue, 1 white, all of equal size and thickness, and it just needs to go through the pasta machine to get the colour that I'm after. So once I've done that, I'll be back. Okay, so I've mixed the colours together, and this is the colour that you're aiming to get, like I guess it's like a burgundy colour almost, but the stone incorporates that colour in different shades. So I need to keep one little bit as is, and then we need 2 more little pieces. So this is going to stay dark. Actually, I'm going to swap that round. One piece is going to stay dark, but these 2 pieces need to go light and then lighter still. So what I'm going to do is take the white clay, and I'm just going to add 1, 2, it's a bit big, 3 balls of white. I mean, it's hard to gauge how much that is, but this kind of size. So that's going to get mixed into that, but then this one needs to go lighter still, so I'm going to roughly roll out the same size balls and go 1, 2, a bit big again. This is just approximate, and you can mix it to the desired colour that you're after. 3, and another one on top of that. So there's quite a lot of white going into this one here. So again, I'm going to mix each of these, and once I've done that, I'll be back. Okay guys, so they've all been mixed. So I've kept the first piece as is, and then I mixed white into both of these, and I put more white in this one to get it slightly lighter. It doesn't have to be a massive difference, but we just want that for like the shades. Alright, so that's the colour mixing part done. Now I just need to start putting things together. So I want to be getting 2 of each of this colour. So I'm just going to get my 2 pieces of translucent clay and just lump it together, and then that's got to be mixed. And then the same with this. Don't need all of that, but I'm just going to, I've used half of that. Again into the translucent, and then maybe about this much. There's a little bit left of that. So again, I've got my dark, my medium and my light, and they all need to be mixed. I'll be back. Okay guys, so I've mixed those and I've cut each of those into 2 squares. So that's the dark shade, 2 of the medium, 2 of the light, and I forgot to mention that you'd need more translucent. I wasn't thinking ahead. And I've rolled out some more translucent onto the thickest setting, and I've got 4 squares of those. So now we've got the dark, the medium, the light shades of the burgundy, 4 squares of translucent, and some white rolled out onto a number 5. So now we just need to start stacking them, and in no particular order, I'm just going to start stacking them. So let's go with this, and then throw in a little piece of white. Let's go with the dark again, and the trans, and then some light, white, trans, dark, trans, no, yeah, another white, and then the last piece of the colour, and I'm only using 3 squares of white. I hope this is making sense. It is a little complicated, I guess, but yeah, so you've got all your stacked together, and like I say, it's no particular order anyway. So, and I'm just going to squash this together. Oops, roll it. Cut in half. Stack. And I'm rolling and stacking this 2 times, that's all. So I'm going to squish that back together. And roll again. Cut in half. Excuse me. Restack. And that's that. No more restacking involved. And then I'm just going to do my usual, you know, squishy squashy thing. Just want to try and get some like lines running through it, almost stripy look almost. I don't want any particularly swirly bits in there, which is kind of difficult because you do end up getting a bit of swirl going on. So I'm just going to distort it a little bit, not too much. And then I'm just going to take my blade, blunt side, and just cut through at different sort of angles within the stack, just to try and get some lines running through. And then I'm going to squish it back together, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, just put some lines through. Distort it a little more if you want to. Squash it up at the edges and push it back into shape. You're just deforming it, guys. And I think that will be good. I also forgot to mention you're going to need some more white clay rolled out. See, brain farts again, guys. But I'm just rolling some white out onto number 3. And I'm just going to make a small piece today. Alright, so there's your white clay again rolled out onto number 3, and there's the block. And I'm just taking a look at this. Do I need to distort it anymore? I think I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, and then I'm going to flip it on its side and take a decent chunk. And this is what it looks like. But I'm going to squash this onto my tile like this. And I'm actually going to roll it out a little bit. I just want to stretch that pattern out just a bit. And then I'm going to take my Felxible blade and just take very thin slices. Just nice little random cuts. And then I'm going to start stacking it on, or layering it onto my white clay. Now I'm going to try, can you see, it's difficult to explain, can you see that these lines are all going in one direction? You want to keep it in that same direction as you place it on, so they're all going the same way, if that makes sense. Let me do another piece. I'll see if I can explain a bit better. Okay, so there's these lines here. Now you don't want them to be going across this way, you want them to be going down or up, whichever way you look at it. So they're all going in the same direction. Like that. Let's take some more. And you can almost see the little spider webs within these pieces, hence the name, I guess. Alright, so I'm just going to keep doing that. Just taking little tiny cuts, nice and thin, and just placing it on this white clay. A little bit more. Try and get some more of those stripy bits in there as well. And it's okay to overlap them a little bit. Oops. Oh, I like that piece. Let me put that here. Just a few more little pieces here and there, just to fill up that white. Just going to get more of this stripy piece here and then lay it there. And I think that's good. So I've still got this block, so you can get quite a lot of stuff out of it. But I'm good just for now. Alright, so you've got that. I'll just clean up a little bit. Move this over. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a quick roll. Just stretch out that pattern a little bit more, I think, and you can just kind of do this. And I think that will be good. Now we need to add this very thin sheet of the turnip. So I'm just going to place it over the top. This is the bit that scares me because I've got to get those lines into the veneer, and while I have practiced this, sometimes it came out pretty good and other times not so much. Fingers crossed it will work. Alright, so I've placed that over there and I'm just going to give it a roll just to make sure it's stuck down, nothing too heavy. Now take your blade again, your rigid blade, and blunt side down, just start to press in. Try and get as far down as you can, and with this I don't want an overkill of lines, I just want some here and there. just kind of give it a little bit of a wobble as well. That kind of helps to push the clay in. And then I'm also going to use my Felxible blade just because I can bend it. Because I noticed that in Spiderweb Imperial Jasper there's some like curvy lines running through it as well. It's the same thing, just cut down. And I think that will do. Maybe just another little one here. And maybe just another one like that. Alright, so I'm praying it's going to work. Now the reason I put it on some white backing like this is because I would actually do want some of that white to show through. So if you do cut down a little too deep, don't worry, you kind of want that little bit of white showing through. Okay, I'm so nervous. I'm going to add a few more lines. Okay, I'm done. That's enough. Right. So now you want to take your Felxible blade and you are shaving so thin into the clay, you're hardly going down at all, because don't forget this top sheet is on the thinnest setting, so you're really only cutting down as thick as that sheet is, if that makes sense. And I think it's working, guys. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous to do this, because apart from anything else, if it had gone wrong, that's more clay wasted, and there's a shortage at the moment, as most of you probably know. See, I went a bit deeper there, but that's fine. I've got some of that white coming through now. Okay, so I didn't want to waste any more clay, so I was like, oh, shall I do this tutorial or not? But can you see? It's leaving those lines behind, which is what you want, which is, I'm so excited it's worked. So just be very gentle with it, very slow. You don't want to gouge out too much. I went a little deep there, I think. But again, I do want some of that white coming through, so I'm not too worried. But I'm just going to go a little more careful now, because I don't want too much of the white showing through. So you're just really getting rid of that very top layer of the turnip colour. My heart is pounding. How weird is that? It's like, it's just clay, Deb, it's just clay. But I so wanted this to work, so I'm happy. Okay. And there's just this little bit here. Try and get rid of this as well. So this is a little time consuming, and you do need some patience, and you do need to go slow with it, but that's okay. I'm just getting closer to those lines as I can, just to remove any pieces that look a little bit thick. I want to try and get the lines as fine as possible, although there are some thicker ones in it as well when you look at the actual stone. But oh dear. Alright, I think I'm going to stop shaving. I can always come back and do that, and I'm just going to make the pendant, because you don't want to watch me do that for the next 10 minutes. Alright, so you've also got these little pieces here. Now you could either just mix them up and use them as scrap. I'll probably use them for a backing or something, or you could just lay them over a backing sheet and make an interesting pendant with it, whatever you fancy. I'm just going to use it for scrap. And it's a nice colour when mixed as well. It's not like it's going to go in a horrible muddy brown or anything, so I don't feel too bad about doing that. Alright, now my nerves have calmed down. let's just lift this up and give it a little examine. So there it is. It does look a little squirrely in places, but now I'm going to bring in my backing clay and lay it over my backing clay. Let me just see if I can get a little bit more of this at the bottom off. I'm going to cut a little deeper, I think, and try and get some more white showing. On those edges especially. Try and get that into the pendant so you've got this white showing through. And then there's just a little bit of that turnip left there, which I don't want. So you can just like fiddle around with it as much as you like until you get what you want. So you can see those lines going through, which is kind of cool. Alright, so now I'm just going to gently roll it to start with and try and get some of those lines that split open pushed back together. We don't want any gaps. There's just a little bit there still. And then I'm going to stretch it a little bit because I don't want it too squirrely looking. I just want to stretch out the pattern somewhat. Alright, and I think that's good. I need to stop messing with it, don't I? Just make sure it's... Oh, there's a bit of an air bubble there. Just try and push that out. Okay, got it. Don't want air bubbles. Alright, so that's that. And that's what you're left with. You've got all those cool looking lines running through. So now I just need to make my pendant. And I think I'm actually going to freehand it, to be honest. Give it more of a stone-like look rather than a uniform shape look, if you know what I mean. Okay, let me think how I want to do this. And I can't find my X-Acto knife, so I'm just going to go like this with my blade. Might help if I use my other one. And I'm gonna make this quite a big piece, so I'm just gonna curve it round, do a few little curves in it, cut it through. Maybe bring this out a little more, and then curve it around, and then in a little bit. Now I can always cut this to size after if it's too big. I feel sad that there's this much left over, but again, it's a nice colour when mixed, so I'm not too worried. Alright, so there's my rough shape, and I'm just going to tidy it up a little bit. So I'm just going to take that bit off. Just curve that round a little bit there. And I'm just going to get a piece of paper. Put it on there. And just tidy it up a bit. Give it a softer, rounded look on the edges. Now, once this is baked and cooled off, I am going to sand it, and I'm going to sand it good on those edges. And probably on the back, but not the front, because the front is going to get resined. So I'm just going to cut this bit away because it's sticking out a little bit. Okay, and I think that's good. Alright guys, so I'm going to go and put this in the oven, and once it's baked and cooled off, I'm just going to, like I say, do the edges and the back. And I am going to give it a quick burnish before I do that, because I can see some fingerprints. So once I've baked it and sanded the edges and the back, I will resin it. You don't need to see me resin it, but I am going to resin it. And I'll be back. Alright guys, I've finished it, I've baked it, I've sanded the edges so they're nice and smooth. I haven't done anything to the backs yet, and obviously I haven't like turned them into anything yet, or this into anything yet. And that's the outcome. Now I'll be honest with you, I fiddled with it a little bit off camera and I feel like I cut away a bit too much of the colour, but it's still cool. You can still see those lovely lines running through. So there's that one that I did on camera, and from the same batch I made this one as well, same thing, and I really love the lines running through that one as well. So there's that one, and then I also, from the same batch, I also made this one, and I did actually cut a little bit more of the colour away and left a lot more white, which I really like actually. I really like how these lines are still running through the white clay. So there's that one, and as you know with any stone, they're always going to look a bit different in real life, so they're the ones from today. Now my practice run, I think I prefer, which is just typical, I did exactly the same thing, the exact same technique. I just think I used lighter colours, and some of the lines on this one are a little thinner, which I think I prefer, but again, you know, they always come out a little different, but I think this one's my favourite. It's just a case of playing with the clay a little bit. You do have to manipulate it a little bit, as you saw, stretch it a little bit, and just keep doing that until you get the desired look. Like I say, I prefer this one. And then this is another one that I did from this same batch. So just to show you the difference, there isn't much, it's just a case of the colours a little darker, but there they all are, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have fun experimenting with this, and I'll catch you later, guys. Bye.